All right, guys, those are my dogs. I just got another vehicle. This is going to be a Monte Carlo 85 Monte Carlo SS. We're going to be doing a project on that one. We're going to restore it on YouTube. But this video is about 2015 Ford Explorer. The customer called me, says, hey, you know, I need you to put a coil pack on there, a number 3 cylinder, which is in the back of the motor underneath the intake manifold. So he has 110,000 miles on it. So I said, you might as well get the tune-up done while we're in there. He's got over 100,000 miles. He's due for some new spark plugs. So we already been out there and we did it, but there were some complications on the very end that I want to share with you. We're going to be doing injector testing and everything, but this video is going to show you how to change spark plugs, how to remove the intake manifold, how to do injector testing for misfires, checking for spark. We're going to do all of that, and then we're going to find the problem. It's not a real long video, but it's long for my videos, but it's interesting. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's get to it. All right, guys, let's begin. We'll start removing, oops, did I move it? I'm going to start removing the intake tube. You're going to need an 8mm, one here, unplug the mass airflow sensor. Just simply move it off the latch and move it. Okay, I'll pull it off. Okay. Disconnect this hose over here. Hope you guys can see me. Okay, disconnect this hose over here. Simply just pull it off, okay? Just gonna lay this thing right over here. All right, let's go ahead and unplug the throttle body. There's a little red clip you'll see right there. You get yourself a little screwdriver. Get yourself a little screwdriver and just simply pop the red clip that way until you hear it snap. And push down the little button and pull it off. Okay, also going to unplug this one while I'm here, and we're going to unplug this looks like a purge, yeah, the evap system. Go ahead and push in the rabbit ears on that green. Push in the rabbit ears and kind of push it out like that, and you'll be able to pop this out too. Okay, get that out of the way. Let's go ahead, and at this time, let's go ahead and remove this throttle body. Okay, let's go ahead and pull these bolts out of the throttle body. Okay, so far so good. All right, consolidate all your bolts. Okay, we don't want to lose anything. I'll try to keep this camera as steady as I can, you guys. And is there another bolt somewhere? No, there's not. All right, see how nasty that is. So we're going to clean that up for him too. Okay, there's some these harnesses have some clips on it, so you simply just pull them off. You see these little clips. All right, you pull them off of there. Okay, let's start taking out bolts off the intake manifold. I'm not going to worry about these front plugs right now. I'm just going to go get the intake manifold off first. All right, so 10mm on the intake manifold. I like using my cobalt a lot. I've never thought I'd use it so much, but nowadays it's pretty much an 8mm. is pretty much a necessity these days. So good to get one. Okay. These bolts do not come out. I think this one will, but these bolts do not come out of the intake manifold, okay? You can't get them out, so you're not gonna lose them. This one does come out, okay? Got one more to take out. Okay, good, good, good. I just saw the intake manifold move. All right, looks like we got a bolt. It looks like we got a bolt. All right, looks like we got a bolt right down there. We have to take off. It's for the bracket that holds the manifold to the engine kind of thing, okay? So let's get that out. Use a long extension. Okay. Try not to drop the bolt. I'm gonna try myself. Don't know if I'll be successful or not. Okay, good. Okay, good. All right. Now the manifold is somewhat off. You can disconnect this hose. We're not going to remove it. We're just going to leave it on. That connection right there. You're just going to leave it on. Don't need to really take it off, okay? Okay, let me go ahead and put you back on the tripod. All right, guys, last thing is back here on the back of the intake manifold. You'll see this little pipe right here. So you're going to have to get your little clamp or some pliers or something. Just kind of grip it and pull it back. Okay. Can't really get your pliers on there to twist the hose. So I'm just going to use my little bitty screwdriver on that one. Kind of break it. Kind of break the seal. You know, that go all the way around the tubing. And break it loose. Then you can just pop it off of there. Pop it off of there like that. Okay. And you should be able to get this thing out of there now. Let's see. There's something holding on to it. But you know what? You really don't have to take it all the way out. You can do your inspection right now. Look at the intake manifold gasket. You want to clean that off with some spray. But now you have access to your coil packs. Same procedure, red tabs. Click them up. Push down the button. And unplug them. Like that. Okay. Unplug them. Unplug them. 8mm bolts. Let's go ahead and get those out. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and pull out these coil packs. We'll start from the front. Take all the bolts out of there. Now, if you watch me, I usually do everything. I do everything in bulk. I don't do one at a time like you'll hear people say on the internet. I do everything in bolt. If it's a dirty area, if there's a dirty area, just blow the area off. Wipe it down, spray it down. If you're worried about dirt getting inside the hole and stuff like that. If it's like that. These normally stay pretty clean. I'm just saying. But just to keep you guys happy a little bit, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to use air. I'm just going to use a little carburetor cleaner. It'll dry up fairly quick. Clean the area off. All right, and I'm done. All right, you can start. Let me unclip these front coil packs. I haven't done that yet. Just simply pull up on the red tab, push the button. That's all you really got to do. All right. Kind of twist the coils a little bit, twist them, and then pull them out. All right, you don't want to get them mixed up because we know number 3 has to be checked out. Twist and pull. Twist and pull. Here's 3. Here's the suspected bad coil right here. I'm going to put it on the battery because that's number 3. Okay, here's your new spark plug. They're pre-gapped. They'll come with this cover on it. They're pre-gapped. So you want to look at you see how wide that is and see how narrow it is? It starts wearing out. So this is a new spark plug. Just look at all of them, make sure the gap is good, and you know, do that. All right, you gently just lay the spark plugs in the hole. Okay. One more added note. You know, it could be, you know, he was due for a tune-up anyways. He has 110,000 miles on this vehicle, so he's due for the tune-up. We're putting motorcrafts in there. But it's very possible he could have a bad coil pack as well. So what we're going to do, instead of putting number 3 in the back of the motor, because you're going to have to get the intake on here, we're going to save number 3 and put it in number 1 or number 2 or number 4 and 5 or 6. And that way, if it is a coil pack, it's easy access, easy to replace. Instead of spending money you don't necessarily have to spend. Yeah, that's how we're going to do it. We're going to put number 3 and put it in the front. And then we're going to start at the vehicle. And if it's still missing, we're going to replace the coil pack. That's how we're going to do it this time. Okay, only replace stuff that you need replaced. That's how I do things. Just look at the gap. Slide it in the hole, nice and gentle like. Let me get all these in there. Okay, guys, they're in there. We're just going to tighten them down. When you tighten down a spark plug, you just try to spin them in by hand all the way. This is not a tire, it's not a lug nut or anything like that. It's a spark plug. So you tighten them up, you just don't over tighten them. You don't want them so loose that when you drive 20-30,000 miles, then the spark plugs start loosening up by themselves. So just make sure they're tight. I see that a lot on Fords. People put their spark plugs in and they must not tighten them a lot, because most of the time, well, maybe not most of the time, 50% of the time the spark plugs are loose. You can almost get them out with your hands. So you want to make sure that you tighten them up. Okay, get your ratchet on there. Don't use electric. All right, it's bottomed out. Maybe about a turn. About a quarter turn is tight enough. Yeah, quarter turn. That's what I would recommend. It's plenty tight. Now let's get some coil packs in there. We're going to use the coil packs that were on the front and we're going to put them in the back. It doesn't really matter about coil packs, but I want to put the number 3 on number 1, like you know, at least on the front of the motor. So if I do need to change it, again, I'll have easy access. That's the whole point. I couldn't really check the coil while it was on the back, and he needed a tune-up, so this just makes it a little bit easier. We can check it when it's on the front after the car starts. All right, see if it's going to misfire again. It is a pretty consistent misfire, so it's not intermittent anymore like it has been according to the customer. You can put some dielectric grease in here too. Spray down the intake manifold. You kind of wipe it down a little bit. Make sure there's no debris on the gasket. Make sure it has a nice fat thickness to it, because it has to seal up again on the motor, right? So if yours is flattened out, time to change them. These look fairly new. They look brand new, matter of fact. 110,000 miles on it new, but they still look great. So I'm not going to worry about the intake manifold. All right, wipe off your mating surface. Wipe off the mating surface to the intake manifold. This time you can go ahead and set this manifold back in the hole where it belongs. Okay, nice and gently, like, okay, nice and gentle. You got a gasket on there. You don't want to be rough. Make sure it slides in there really nice. I'm just going to go ahead and put one bolt back in there. I'm going to put the long bolt back in there. Spin it 3 times before you start using a gun. Make sure you're not going to strip out the threads. Okay, just want to get a little snugness to it. Now that old coil pack is on number 1, the number 3 is now in number 1. Okay. You can start plugging that stuff whenever you're ready. I'm going to start by tightening these bolts up. That in there. We're going to go ahead and put our bolt back in the back where it belongs for the bracket. Okay, good. All right. Clean out the throttle body while we have it out of the vehicle. You see how nasty that is? We're going to clean out that throttle body too for you, sir. Okay. All right, it's disgusting.
That works. All right.
You want to be careful not to drop this thing, okay? It could cause problems. Rubber gloves would be nice too, you guys. I usually wear gloves. I just don't have any. in my truck today. It's gonna run better just because of this is clean. 100% sure. That was nasty. Okay. Let's get back over here. Now let's install it. Check the gasket. Line it up. Put 4 bolts in it. These are another one. You don't have to super tighten these things. Just get them snug. It has an O-ring on the back of this. I just know what my tool is putting out, so I'm pretty used to this tool. I know when I have the right torque or close. This is why I use that. All right, plug up that. I'm gonna go back here and plug up this hose for the P positive crankshaft ventilation valve. PCV, I always get that confused. I want to say PCV, PVC is what I want to say all the time. It's the PVC. No, my brain just can't wrap around that for some reason. Okay, go ahead and connect my hoses right here. Connect my hoses. Intake manifolds tight, spark plugs are tight, coil packs are tight. Hose is in there. Throttle body's cleaned out, plugged up. Map sensor plugged up. We can put the intake back on there now. Same as removal. Plug that up. Plug that up. Plug up this tube. Just snaps in there. Tighten up the 8mm bolts. Okay, that looks good. Plug up our hose back here, which is a really sloppy fit, I might add. Yeah, that's a sloppy fit. It's so sloppy it doesn't even feel right. You know what? I'm just gonna leave it like it is for right now. And we can go start this thing up right now. Let's start it up. See what it sounds like. See if we have a misfire.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh?
All right, I still see a misfire. So let's get back on scan tool under power balance. And we'll see if now we're missing on number 1. Oh, you know, look at that. We are still missing on number 3. We are still missing on number 3. You hear that? You're still missing on number 3. I was not expecting that. So that's the problem. I got to go back in there and I have to check the injector. I have to check the injector. I'm going to see if I can check it via scan tool first. I'm going to go all the way back out of here and start over again. I was not expecting that. Oh my God, really? know. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Looks like I'm going to be here longer than I thought I was going to be here. Yeah, still missing on number 3. All right, what I'm doing now is checking compression on number 5. Yep, just turn it over like you're going to start it. Can you start it? All right, shut it off. Shut it off. Shut it off. See how much compression we got on that one? So we're going to do a compression test on here first since I already got everything off. I don't want to have to take this intake manifold off again. So let's go ahead and check everything. Injectors, the coil, swap out the spark plug again. Everything. Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to just do a compression test. Okay. Okay, there's that one. I got that one in there. Excuse the jumbling around real quick. All right, let's try that again. Shut it off when it starts. Do that again. Let it run for a second if it can. All right, it's slow. Start it up. All right, I have injector pulse. All right, I just want to verify that again. So, okay. So let's check the coil, see if it's firing. All right, we're gonna see if this coil pack sparks. Try it again. Start it up. All right, it's sparking. All right, we got spark. Over here, I got injector pulse. I got compression. I got coil is firing. That's a swapped out coil anyways, but I still have a misfire on number 3. Tricky, tricky. Let's go ahead and put the plugs back in it. All right, now when I first started the diagnosis, I seen the oil. Thank you very much. I seen a cam code, and your oil condition is very important when you're dealing with any car these days. And he has no oil in this car. Let me check it again for you. Give me a second. It was empty a second ago. All right, there's no oil in this car. Could be causing a misfire. Oil is pretty important with ignition timing. If your oil is dirty or bad condition, it could cause your vehicle to run bad. This is a Ford. It does have variable timing solenoids on it. I rechecked my work back there. Everything is good. I even re-swapped the coils and the spark plug. Still have a misfire on number 3. Still have a misfire on number 3. So I'm going to add a couple quarts of oil in here because it's empty, and we're going to recheck to see how it runs. You just happen to have some 530. It doesn't matter what he has at this point because I want him to go get an oil change anyways. I just want some oil in the system. So let's put some oil in it and we'll give it a crank. Hopeful that this is going to solve the issue. You got like 2.5 quarts in this jug.
Want me to run and go get some more right quick?
No, you're fine. You're fine enough. You're good enough for the test.
Okay.
We did need spark plugs anyways, so 110,000 miles. So it's still a good service. Hopefully this thing will run better. smoke coming out of the smoke coming out of there. I don't know if you guys see that or not. All right, let's go ahead and check our level real quick. That is nasty, nasty. So we're still low on oil. You see that? Nothing on the stick yet. I put some quarts in that thing. I still ain't got nothing on the stick. We got to find an oil leak. Wait, you said this is the first time you're due right now for an oil change. All right, so you just bought this vehicle. All right, I used that entire half a gallon that you gave me. We don't have no more oil. Ah, look at you. Yep, probably is the noise when you was under a load. All right, you're about 1.25 quarts low, still low. Let's crank it up, man, and see if that misfire goes away. You're gonna let it run for a little bit, let that oil circulate. Step on the gas for me one time. Let's go back into power balance. Where are you at, power balance? Sounds like it's running a little bit better. Let's see. Still got a misfire on number 3. Still got a misfire on number 3. Okay, we just did a relative compression test. We're looking at number 3 cylinder, and we have a fault on number 3 cylinder. So there's definitely, all the other ones are normal. We're gonna redo the test. Okay, we're doing a relative compression test. That's what we're doing. And what this is going to do, this test is going to do, it's going to turn the injectors off. 1 second. Ugh. Okay, we're going to push your pedal all the way to the floor, the accelerator pedal. All the way to the floor and hold it there. Is the key in the on position? There you go. To crank the vehicle for 10 seconds. Do it again. Again. All right, that's good. That's good. Okay, and here are the results for a relative compression test. Everything is pretty damn low, and we have a fault on number 3, and that's the one that had the misfire. He's got some kind of motor issue going on here due to lack of oil is what the issue is. And I'm gonna let him know and talk to him about it and figure out what to be next step. Probably take it back to the dealership, and it's under warranty, so they're going to be handling this. It's probably going to be a new motor, new rings, I don't know. Not without tearing it down. All right, guys, and that's a wrap. Okay, what we got going on here is the oil is extremely nasty. It's still nasty even after adding about 3 quarts of oil in it. When you bought the car, did you check the oil?
Yes.
You did check the oil?
Did check the oil.
Was it nasty like this?
Stop.
I can edit.
Nah, I didn't check the oil.
You didn't check the oil? It doesn't look like. If you would have saw that dirty, nasty oil.
Because I normally check the oil and smell it too and look for flakes in it.
Yeah, there.
In the transmission.
You checked it when you didn't even check it when you bought it. You just bought it and left. And how many miles did you put on it since then?
1,000 miles.
About 1,000 miles. So that oil should still be clean if they would have changed the oil when you bought it. So they obviously didn't change it because it was nasty, disgusting black. So and they need to find the oil leak. If you have an oil leak, I don't see anything. I don't see anything. I don't see any valve covers leaking or anything on this, but I don't know about underneath. I guess I can look underneath real quick just to see. And you are dry as a bone, so you must be burning oil. Let's go look at the tailpipe. Let's go look at the tailpipe, because you're dry as a bone in there, underneath the vehicle and around the vehicle. Yeah, you see that?
Okay.
So you've been burning oil.
Gotcha.
So that weak cylinder number 3 is blowing by and coming out the tailpipe.
Okay.
And you have low compression on number 3.
Okay.
It's just slow to build.
Right.
Okay, so good. We got to the bottom of that. I'll do I have any more? There's really nothing else to talk about. It's not the injectors. It's not the coil pack. We tested both of those for injection pulse and spark. We checked the compression. It's slow to build up to 120 due to lack of oil. You probably got a motor damage. He's probably gonna tell you got a bad valve, bad ring on number 3. You're probably gonna need another motor.
Okay.
They're probably gonna put another motor in there for you. If they're smart, that's what they'll do. All right, if they're smart.
Hopefully they're smart.
I know, right? All right, guys, that's it. Hayes Mobile Auto Repair. We're in Jackson, Mississippi. Peace.